Okay, we're back. So, as you saw in the last video, we successfully uploaded an assignment. There it is, Frog and Toad are friends. Remember, they had to read Frog and Toad, and they had to draw their favorite character and write a paragraph describing their favorite character. So now maybe we want to do something more with Frog and Toad. Perhaps we want to create another type of activity. Um, and this time, let's maybe go down to a quiz here. Okay, we can create a quiz for them to take. So I'm going to click Add Quiz. And it's going to ask me what the name of the quiz is. So we're going to call this Frog and Toad Quiz. Okay. Again, I'm going to take that title and I'm going to copy paste it here into this field. And then I'm going to give them some directions. After you have read Frog and Toad are friends, take this quiz to test your knowledge. And I don't like that to be highlighted, so I'm going to go like that. Then I'm going to fix my title so that it is written appropriately. Okay, so there we go. So I gave them instructions. Maybe I want to time the quiz. Not necessarily like by day, but I can have it open a certain day. If I click enable here, I can set the date that the quiz would open. But you don't have to. But I can give a time limit. This might be good for the older students so that they're not searching for answers on the internet. Maybe I want to only give them 10 minutes for this quiz. Okay. And we'll talk about grade layout and all of these in a little bit. So I'm going to hit save and return. And then there's my quiz. So I'm going to click on it. And then it tells me, well, you don't have any questions in the quiz yet, so I have to edit the quiz. I'm going to click on that button, Edit Quiz. And here's where I get to add different types of questions in my quiz. So you see this button right here, Add. So if I click there, I'm going to click on Add a new question. We don't have any questions in a question bank. Some teachers with CD-ROM drives of the, or CD-ROMs of the textbooks might have access to a test bank. In that case, you could import questions from a test bank into Moodle, but I can also make them myself. So I don't have questions from a bank for Frog and Toad, but I'm going to click on Add a New Question. Okay. And I'm going to kind of ignore all this mumbo jumbo stuff up here and go to these types of questions here. They're the most typical types of questions that you might ask on a test anyway. And maybe I'm going to create a couple multiple choice questions on Frog and Toad. So I would hit that button right there and click Add. And then I need a question name, so maybe I'm just going to call it just question number 1. And then I have to type out here my question. Who are the 2 main characters in the story? Question mark. Okay. I'm going to fix that. I only want to give them 1 point for this question, but I could change that. I could change it to 5 points if I wanted to, but I'm going to change it back to 1. Okay. And if I want to write some feedback, I could write feedback here. Great. And then I'm going to scroll down. I can leave this clicked on or take it away. It will shuffle the choices, so they won't necessarily always show up in the order that You're typing them in down here. And then I want to give them some choices. So maybe choice number 1 is frog and toad. Okay. Now, we all know that frog and toad is the correct answer, so I got to click here and I have to click on 100% because that is the correct answer. So I'm going to go and give them another choice, maybe frog and butterfly. I don't know, just making things up here. And I'm going to leave grade at none because that is clearly not the answer. I'm going to write toad and sloth for choice number 3. And then maybe I'm going to give them a 4th choice, lion and jaguar, if I can spell jaguar. Okay, there. And again, I'm going to leave grade at nothing there. Okay. And you can see I can give them more choices. I can give them 5 choices. I can make more choices than that. If I click this button here, blank for 3 more choices, I could do that too. Okay. And I'm going to save changes and not continue editing. I am going to, sorry, save changes, and it's going to add that question to my quiz. So there's that question. Maybe I want to add another question, so I'm going to make another new question. And I mean, there's lots of different types of questions. You just play around with them. There's true, false. You could do a whole bunch of matching activities. I'm just going to add another multiple choice question. So I'm going to click add there. And I don't know, I need another question. Let's see. Oh, I know what I'll ask. So this is going to be question number 2. During what season did the story take place? Okay, so that's my next question. And if they get it correct, this time I'm going to say, way to go. Okay. And then I'm going to give them the options. I'll let them shuffle, so I'll leave that there. So, okay, now let's go through their choices. So we will say summer. Choice number 2, fall. Choice number 3, winter. And choice number 4, spring. Now, I need to know the answer, and I know that the answer is spring, so I'm going to click on that 100%. And I'm going to leave the default mark at 1, and then I'm going to scroll down and hit Save Changes. Okie dokie there. So now I have 2 questions in my quiz. Now, it's very important. Let's say I was going to stop there. So see the maximum grade there? It's very important that I change that maximum grade to match the point total that I have here. So I change that to 2, and I'm going to click Save. And it is going to save that. And then I am going to go back to my course, and I'll show you what that looks like. So there's my frog and toad quiz. And if I click on it, I can even test it, and it tells me I have 10 minutes. My grading method's the highest grade, and I'm going to attempt the quiz now. And it says, are you sure you wish to start? And I will start the quiz, and there's my question. My first question. Who are the 2 main characters in the story? Well, I know them to be Frog and Toad, so I'm going to click on that. Look, even here it tells them how much time they have left, and I'm going to hit next. And then it says, during what season did the story take place? Well, remember that now this order has changed, so you can see that it is not presenting them in the same order. And I know the story took place during spring, so I'm going to click next. And then it saved my answers. Okay, and I'm going to click submit all and finish. I'm going to click that there. and it checked it. So I know I got both of them right. There's my um, words of encouragement, great, and way to go. The students can see this. And then that score will be submitted to you, the teacher, in the on the course page. So if this was done correctly, Miss Blatt should have received an email right now notifying that I just took a quiz that was placed on her Moodle page. We'll see if that's true later on when we talk to Miss Blatt. Okay, so that's how you could create a little quiz or test. You could do this for any of the subjects. You could see how I quickly did it for Frog and Toad. So they had a little assignment and then they took a little quiz. Now, of course, for the younger students, they would have to do this through their parents' login. But I don't really see any big trouble with that. But again, clearly, the older the students get, the easier this would be. Because they could then go on the page independently. They wouldn't need their parents to log in. But it's still a great place for you to put assignments and activities for the students. And then Ms. Blatt, for you, I'm going to hide these so the parents can't see them. And we could talk about later on whether or not you want to keep them there as an idea for an activity for you later. But so you saw how I hid that. If I wanted to show to the people looking at my page, I click here and they can see it, but I'm going to hide it for now. So that means only you can see it. Anyone else who logs in your page, they cannot see that. So that's how you could add a quiz to your page. And there were lots of different question types. I would encourage you to just play around with them. If you're unsure of any of them, whenever you click on a different type of question, it always gives you a description of what it is and how it might be useful toward the tests that you are creating. Okay? So that's how you can make a quiz. I hope this was helpful.